Breaking news now. Putin hosts high-ranking Chinese military officials in Moscow. Der Russisch Präsident Wladimir Putin hat am Mittwoch in Moskau den stellvertretenden Vorsitzenden der Zentralen Militärkommission Chinas, Zhang Yusha, getroffen. Putin said that Russia and China's cordial ties helped to restore regional and global stability but were fundamentally different from the Cold War-era alliances that bind the two countries. The Russian president praised the rapid growth of bilateral economic and trade ties over the past few years, saying that Russia and China maintained close coordination at the international level through organizations like the United Nations, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the BRICS. Both sides' armed forces have been able to work together effectively in a variety of areas, yielding fruitful results that contribute significantly to the strategic security of both countries. Russia is ready to deepen strategic communication with China, Putin says, as well as boost practical cooperation and push forward the development of deep bilateral relationships between the two nations and their militaries. Zhang conveyed the correct greetings and best wishes of Chinese President Xi Jinping to Russian President Vladimir Putin and explained that this year the two heads of state had held two productive meetings and made several significant agreements that set a new course for ties between China and Russia. China is ready to work with Russia to implement the crucial agreement between the two heads of state, further strengthen the pragmatic cooperation between the two militaries, protect the interests of both countries, and ensure the prosperity and stability of the region and the world. On the same day, Zhang Yusha met with Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. The Russian Black Sea headquarters in occupied Sevastopol was hit by a Storm Shadow missile on September 22. It occurred right before a meeting of the highest-ranking officers in the Russian Black Sea Fleet. The reported death toll for Russian officers stands at 34, and includes the head of the Black Sea Fleet. The Ukrainian partisan movement in Russian-occupied Crimea made it possible by risking imprisonment and torture to achieve their goal of a free and independent Ukraine. However, representatives of the underground tell Euromaidan press that passive resistance, such as the hanging of leaflets stating that the Ukrainian army is close and urging Ukrainians to reject Russian passports, is a step towards liberation. Atesh, fire, in Crimean Tatar, for example, describes itself as a military movement of Ukrainians and Crimean Tatars fighting for the independence of Crimea and all other Ukrainian territories from Russian occupation. It started in the summer of 2022 in Crimea and has grown to 1,800 agents, some of whom serve directly in the Russian armed forces, from Kaliningrad to Siberia. In fact, it sprang up to take advantage of the anger of those who had been conscripted against their will into the Russian armed forces. The majority of Atesh fighters are Ukrainians who Russia illegally conscripted from the occupied territories. This is one way that they hope to aid their native country. However, there are some Russians who oppose the government's harsh stance on their neighbor. They refuse to believe the propaganda, and they want this special military operation to end as soon as possible. Some Russians want money. A coordinator for Atesh who worked with Euromaidan press but requested anonymity explained in writing.